All right, so here we go on the first audio of the semester, audio of this Shattered Glass movie, and I will try my best to do how I'm supposed to while answering these questions for the prompt. First of all, I don't think Shattered Glass was as bad as I thought going into it through the pre-film briefing. I just thought it was going to be kind of terrible, so I think those lower expectations made it a lot better for me throughout the movie. But here we go. I'll try to do this audio as best as I can. So, Stephen Glass, the main character, main journalist of the movie, started off by saying how journalists in that day and age have big egos. All they care about is what they write, don't care about what anybody else does as long as they get the credit. Stephen, a 24-year-old from that works for the New Republic, was known to be a great journalist of his time, would go back and talk to his high school, the kids at the high school, and just show them the ropes of how to become a good journalist. What those kids and what nobody else knew, what until later on in the movie, is Stephen Glass had real insecurity issues where he seemed like a likable guy, would host different parties, would always make sure everybody was doing all right, would ask questions. Uh, People even thought he was gay, he thought. But besides that extra thought effort, he would always ask the questions like, are you mad at me? What did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? And people would always kind of defend him, saying he was young, only 24, he makes mistakes. But it wasn't until later when Chuck Lane became his editor where he would get called out on his bluff. But going back to Stephen Glass, he did made a ton of mistakes. He had skewed notes, didn't have the number for Nevada, would make up a bunch of quotes in almost every story. I believe it was 27 of the 41 total stories that he had. He would make up. But the weirdest part throughout this story is that the people in his corner would defend him every time. They said he's young, inexperienced, doesn't know how to go about what he's doing, and you just got to give him time. If he gets fired, then those are the only people he has in his life that he can look to and work days that he can look forward to. But Chuck Lane was not having it. Chuck Lane became the editor after Stevens' editor got fired, and Chuck would call him out on his bluff, knew about his notes, knew about the wrong number, would kind of give him the silent treatment sometimes, just getting annoyed about the things that he would do. And then it wasn't until they got into a shouting and argument uh, match when Steven almost got hit by a car going through a stop sign. Chuck Lane told him to pull over, calmed him down, and later Chuck said Steven has to go. With all the fraudulent activity, all the cheating throughout journalism, Steven just wasn't right for what they were doing. Um, I think it was a kick in the pants to journalism as a profession because it really enlightened cheating, and people in Steven's corner were saying how it's okay that he's cheating. Um, the fact that he's young and doesn't matter. They're in his corner because they work for the New Republic as well. But I mean, you got to call him out, and luckily Chuck Lane was able to. So yes, I do believe it's a kick in the pants. And I went through different examples from the movie. Commandments of journalism, characters broke. Stephen Glass broke just about every one, I believe. Lied, always down on himself, always insecure, didn't put any accurate information out there. And journalism is all about accurate reporting and writing. Uh, I got the warnings of the pre-film briefing that he did skew just about every thing that he wrote, well, more than half at least. And I only think the main characters that shared character traits were Steven and everyone before Chuck Lane came. In the New Republic, that they all condoned lying. They didn't really care that he was cheating because he was young, and it was kind of a ridiculous thing to say or think about. Um, I would say that in the end, I don't know if means were justified. Steven would always try to do his own thing. Wanted to go to law school at Georgetown, wanted to keep writing, said he'd be able to work in the day. But I do think him cheating, and you're going to get caught eventually, so I think that justified how journalism shouldn't be and kind of worked out in Chuck's favor. Um, but I don't know if I would say there were any good journalists in this movie. I mean, most of the movie itself was about Stephen Glass, and he wasn't a good journalist with what he was doing. And the people by his side were okay with what he was doing as well, besides Chuck. So I don't know if I would say that any of them were really good journalists, because that's not what I believe journalism should be about. And I think it's kind of scary the fact that this might be the way it is sometimes, and we're just the outside perspective of an audience, and we don't know what goes on in different newsrooms. So that's kind of a scary part, but this is my briefing, or not briefing, my review, and I hope it was good.